Hello Curious and welcome back! For the past few weeks, the whole internet has been living the case of blogger Gabby Petito, who had been travelling across the country with her boyfriend Brian in a camper van, and who later was reported missing by her family, and sadly, later her remains were discovered near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Many internet users had found it suspicious that her boyfriend, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, had returned home alone, and then when she was reported missing, he disappeared. Many had been involved in the manhunt for Laundrie, including Dog the Bounty Hunter. What are the most recent news regarding the man everyone is searching for? Why do his close friends say it would be impossible to find him in the wilderness? What have been Dog's latest findings? Is his own sister against him? And could police be close to finding him? Stay with us until the very end to find out the latest information in this case. Before we delve into what is happening to Brian and the latest leads, let's look back at who he was. Both he and Gabby were Long Island natives, and her stepfather revealed to the press the two of them met in high school. However, it wasn't until March 2019 that they actually began dating, and their Instagram posts from July 2020 seemed to suggest that the two of them were engaged. While not much is known about what Laundrie had done prior to embarking on the trip across the country, there are no media reports about what he did as a job that could suggest he has yet to settle into a career. The couple had lived in Northport, Florida with Laundrie's parents for over a year, prior to settling out on what they called their dream road trip that was consistent of them visiting different national parks, and which they were allegedly supposed to end in Portland, Oregon, to visit a friend in time for Halloween. The pair had set out on July, with Gabby documenting their trip on her Instagram account, posting photos of herself smiling in various locations on their trip. For the most part, as far as their Instagram and YouTube followers were concerned, as well as their families, the trip was going without any problems. That is, until things took a turn in August when Moab, Utah police encountered a couple engaged in some sort of altercation. Officer Eric Pratt had reported that the two were described as getting into a physical fight following an argument, which was backed up by 911 calls. The two were stopped on the road by officers, and body cam footage from the Officer Pratt had shown Petito telling him that while her boyfriend did hit her, she had hit him first. The report also said that both of them had told them they were in love and engaged and desperately didn't wish to see anyone charged with a crime. At the time, the officer suggested they separate for the night, and after having evaluated their circumstances, another responding officer, Daniel Robinson, did not believe the situation had escalated to the level of domestic assault as much as that of a mental health crisis, and so no charges were filed. But later released information about the body cam footage had suggested that there might have been more to that, as according to reports by Fox News, Gabby revealed that her boyfriend got frustrated with her and had tried to lock her out of the car, and that he had grabbed her by the face. From then on, the couple continued on their trip until on September 1st, driving Petito's van, Laundrie returned home to Northport without his girlfriend. However, it wasn't until 10 days later, on the 11th, weeks after calls to her mother and frequent social media posts stopped, that Gabby's family had reported her missing. And it is from here on that things had gotten more confusing. Prior to the woman's body being discovered, Brian had invoked his Fifth Amendment right and refused to talk to anyone. Things got even more heated and confusing when the Laundrie family told police that they had not seen their son since September 14th, adding that he left home with his backpack, but as a source close to the family said, he left his cell phone and wallet. The parents also told officers that he was going to a nearby Carlton Reserve, which is a 25,000-acre nature reserve near the family's home that features waist-high water, snakes, and alligators. However, the family's attorney has most recently revealed that the parents' recollection of certain events was incorrect, because their son allegedly had left on the 13th and not the 14th. At the time, when not much was known about where either Gabby or Brian were, their friends spoke with the press. Many of Petito and Laundrie's friends back from Long Island had told the press that the two of them were a happy couple and couple goals. Though Rose Davis, who was Petito's best friend in Florida, spoke with the Daily Mail and told a completely different story. She told the publication that to her knowledge she was the woman's only friend in the state, not because she wasn't able to make them, but because her boyfriend didn't allow her to. Davis even alleged that Laundrie once took Gabby's ID so that she couldn't go out with her friend. Speaking of the publication, Rose said, "He's got these jealousy issues and he struggles from what Gabby called these episodes, where he would hear things and hear voices and wouldn't sleep. Gabby had to stay at my house a bunch of times because she just needed a breather and didn't want to go home to him." Friends of Brian also spoke to reporters after his disappearance into the wilderness and said that he is a nature guy and knows how to survive in these conditions, which would make it near impossible for officers to be able to capture him. Even prior to the body of the 22-year-old woman being found in Wyoming, and before she was named as a victim of homicide, people on the internet had suspected that Brian had something to do with it, given his behavior. Though once her body was discovered, Laundrie was named a person of interest in the case. It was also at the time that more information had come forward of what had happened when the couple was on their trip. First, the Laundrie family attorney Stephen Bortolino had revealed that the 23-year-old flew to Tampa from Salt Lake City in mid-August, only to join his girlfriend in Utah 6 days later. Bortolino also added that the reason for the trip was to go home to obtain some items and empty and close a storage unit to save money as they contemplated extending the road trip. Around the same time, it was also revealed that not long after he was reunited with Gabby, the two of them were seen in Jackson, Wyoming, where the couple had said that the two were involved in a commotion as they left the restaurant. It was allegedly the last time anyone had seen Petito alive. Once the body of the 22-year-old blogger was found on September 19th and later identified, a U.S. District of Wyoming grand jury had indicted Laundrie on charges of using two financial accounts that did not belong to him. And so, a federal arrest warrant was issued after he used $1,000 following Gabby's passing, and it was stated that he did so knowingly and with intent to defraud. While internet users had been following the case closely, had gone crazy claiming that the arrest warrant was in connection with Petito's passing, the family's attorney had to step in and emphasize that the warrant was not for her passing, but for activities that took place afterward. The search for Brian continued and was proving to be difficult. Apart from the conditions in the Carlton Reserve not being ideal, given that about 75% of the reserve is covered in water, there had also been plenty of calls coming into law enforcement that the man was spotted from Canada to Alabama, Montana, and most recently, North Carolina. Everyone has been most eager to find the man in question, that even Dwayne Chapman, more famously known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, had joined the search. Most recently, it was reported by NBC News that he had handed over items to the FBI that included items he found on one of the islands near Fort DeSoto Park, which is the Florida campground where the Laundrie family attorney revealed at a later date that Brian and his parents went for an overnight trip from September 6th to the 7th. Doug's spokesperson didn't specify what exactly the items were, but in a statement said, "It is his hope that DNA can be assessed to prove Laundrie's presence." Doug has been attempting to authenticate a lot of leads, including the Appalachian trial trip. While all potential leads are being investigated, as it can be imagined, emotions are running high. Most recently, in an appearance on Dr. Phil, Gabby's father revealed that he was angry knowing that he knew who the last person was that saw his daughter, but added that he can't point fingers until they know for sure and called him a coward. During the interview, Joseph also confirmed that what Laundrie's friends had told the press at the start of the investigation. Mr. Petito had told Dr. Phil that Brian had bragged about being able to live off the land, which would mean that he would be able to survive living in the wilderness for quite some time, if that is where he really is. Even Cassie, Brian's sister, wants him to be found. In an exclusive interview on Good Morning America, she had said, "No, I do not know where Brian is. I'd turn him in." In the same interview, she admitted that the last time she saw him was on September 6th, during the family camping trip, but added that she and her family had only stayed there for a couple of hours, and that during her visit nothing seemed off, and that they just had a normal dinner and had some s'mores. But she also expressed her frustrations at the situation, and the fact that she wasn't able to pick up on anything. Another thing she had talked about, something that was heavily speculated by internet users, was whether their parents helped Brian in some way. But as she herself said, she has no idea whether they were involved. Amid all these searches for the man, as of the making of this video, the most recent news was reported by CNN that police had found remnants of a campsite that appeared to have been used recently in the Carlton Reserve. This points that it could possibly be Laundrie, as the Florida wilderness has been closed off to visitors. CNN has also reported that Brian's father, Chris, was asked to show law enforcement the trials there which his son was known to use and help them in the search for him in the reserve. While no concrete answers as to who, why and where have been given yet, it turns out the case of Petito's having her life taken by someone could be a jurisdictional issue. At the moment, it is unknown as to where exactly she had lost her life. If it was where her body was found in the vicinity of Grand Teton National Park, then it would fall in federal lands, and at the moment the FBI is in charge. However, as it was reported by TMZ, if it was determined that she didn't actually lose her life on federal land, then the state authorities would be in charge. And if that would be the case, the big question would be, who would prosecute the person responsible for the 22-year-old woman's passing? Though as of the making of this video, nothing is certain at the moment as there isn't much evidence, and chances are that until Brian is found, there most likely won't be. So what do you curious think of the case? Do you believe that Laundrie is guilty? Do you believe that Dog the Bounty Hunter or officers searching for him will find him soon? And do you think that his family might have been involved in helping him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. And if you like our content, you can click on the thanks button below to support our channel. Until next time.